This is Q103. You're tuned in to Rebel Music. My name is DJ Irie Dole. We're here with Kabaka Pyramid live from Jamaica. Welcome and greetings, Kabaka Pyramid.
Blessed love, greetings. Greetings to everybody tuning in, you know what I mean?
Yeah, Hawaii is definitely tuned into your songs and loving the vibes, loving the Rebel music. One of the tunes that we run a lot here is Feel the Vibes. Definitely
love the vibe. I see the tweets.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Love the vibes, man. Give thanks.
Yeah, man, we're pushing it out here in Maui. And Kabaka Pyramid, some people think you're a new artist, but, reading up on you and knowing about you, I know you've been around for a minute doing all kind of things. Tell the people how you started in this whole music thing.
Well, let's go back to the beginning, We had a song when I was still in high school, I was probably like 13, 14 at the time when I started the song named Time Bomb. And that's how I got into the whole, doing remixes and putting, reggae dancehall songs over hip-hop beats. And I used to do the remixes personally on like Acid Pro.
Okay.
So that's how I learned kind of the software side of the business, the digital side of it. And, later on when we started our first studio for 2002, I learned from my brother how to sequence beats and make beats on the computer and things. So from them time, about 2002, 2003, I started doing my own vocals and writing, a lot of hip-hop. But still doing dancehall from that, them time. But hip-hop just came easier for me, at the time. And, 'cause I never really grew up singing. And, you have to kind of have melody and things like that for the reggae and dancehall.
Right.
But me was more just a lyricist. 'Cause I used to listen music and just really focus on the lyrics and not really think about the musical side of it too much, So, but making beats and stuff helped me with that, going online and reading about the theory of music. I had no formal training or anything, and learning about it. I did some piano classes when I was young, so I remembered some stuff, and it was just a progression, working on the hip-hop side, working on the reggae side, developing the voice and sing and trying to figure out how I want to sound.
So was this Rebel Music album, was that your first really livocation to the reggae side?
Yeah, you could say that. Everything else I did was either 100% hip-hop or like maybe 70% hip-hop, but the Rebel Music was the first real initiation into the reggae side fully, but still keeping the hip-hop identity with some aspects of the production and the lyricism, you know what I mean?
Nice. I'm gonna give myself credit for being the first one to play that Rebel Music album out in California, man, for real.
Nice.
So now going into your lyrics, I see a real sense of knowledge of self.
Yes, right.
A real inspiration going back to your hip hop side. People like Nas, Wu-Tang, all these people that really put a lot of intelligence into their lyrics.
Exactly.
And even where you could listen to their song and come out learning something.
Exactly. That was my musical experience growing up. A lot of the stuff I learned was through music.
Mm-hmm.
And if music is not really saying anything, then I'm not going to gravitate towards it. If I'm not learning anything new. If all I'm learning is a new rhyme scheme or something, then it might be cool for the moment, but then a few weeks later, I listen to that again. But like for example, like a Ghostface Killer, I'm still listening to Supreme Clientele, still wondering what the hell he's talking about. I'm still listening Jizzle Liquid Swords and still dissecting the rhymes,
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, still listening as Illmatic, it was written. So certain things, if you put a lot into it, it lasts.
It's still things that are still relevant today.
Exactly, still relevant, still talking about the same things with society and, the world, the whole political struggles that we face, poverty, war, crime, violence, all these things, spirituality, knowledge of self, as you said. you know, African cultures, Kemet, Ethiopia, Rastafari, you know, these things still relevant, you know.
Let's talk about this African thing, because Kabaka, the Ugandan name for king, and
Yes, right.
and pyramids. Tell me about the Kabaka pyramid. What does this mean to you?
Well, all right, Kabaka now, while I was on my journey, you know, I decided that I can't go along any further without an African name. And I didn't have any priest to initiate me into any culture or any society or anything. So I just literally went in search of a name. Mm-hmm. And I found the name Kabaka, and as you said, it means king in the Bugandan Empire in Uganda. And the name just resonated with me. You know, I didn't really know much about the name, but from a sight, I just said, yeah, you know, I like this name. It has a fiery essence to it. You know, later on I learned through Kenneth that the car is actually, you know, an aspect of your spirit. The bar is an aspect of your soul. Mm-hmm. So it's funny because the name consists of two cars and a bar. So it was like some definitions of the car is also your personality or the energy that governs the particular incarnation that you're born into. So it's like there are two cars and one bar. So there's one individual but two personalities, and it kind of gave an explanation for how I was musically.
Yeah, the word sound power really work out on that one.
Exactly. Because you listen to the reggae and listen to the hip hop and you think it's two totally different people. So now when we put the name together now, because I was rapping on the Rani Pyramid and I was doing reggae on the Irie Kabaka. Okay. Irie is just a name, like, you know, Rastaman changed up everything. So a lot of people say Irie, but this Rastaman from the hills, him just say Irie.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it just means good and positive vibes and things. So Irie Kabaka was the reggae name. So when we decided that we don't want to be, you know, we want to really give this thing a push. And we're kind of out of the development stage now, and it's about pushing, and we need to have it on one track. So we say we're going to fuse the two sides of the music together, and that's when the Kabaka joined with the pyramid, you know?
Love it. We're talking with Kabaka Pyramid right here on Q103 Maui. Kabaka Pyramid, in Jamaica, the music, the society is in the midst of a big revival, seems like, in the reggae world. A big push to get forward to the bands.
Yes.
A lot of band shows going on. We gotta mention Chronix,
yes.
Protege doing big works.
Yes. Yes.
Of course, yourself, folks like Dre Island,
yes,
Namdi, John 9,
yes.
Kalisa,
yes.
Yeah, all them as
everybody, all of the bands, Raging Fire, C-Sharp, Roots Underground. Yeah, well, you guys are already familiar with Roots Underground over in the West Coast.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean? It's a whole host. Uprising, Roots, Dub Tonic. Trust me, Pentatooth is another serious band of young artists coming up. They just released an album the other day. You know, trust me, some serious things are going on.
What sparked this revival? Because it seems like right before this happened, the reggae music was kind of, as a selector, in my opinion, reggae music was getting boring. You know, there was a few things happening, but overall, you know, the dancehall was getting washed out. You know, there wasn't any conscious dancehall, maybe 2 tunes a month, you know, and then and the rub-a-dub was cool, but it wasn't really hidden. It didn't have the message. It didn't carry on the fire that I remember.
Exactly.
Listening to my mom's records.
It became like the water down, and you know, there's always a place for the water element, but to effect change, you always need a little fire. You know what I mean? And I think that is what really determines the movement, the fire in nature. The you know, the fact that we're not really holding back with the messages that much anymore. You know what I mean? We realize positivity, we can push that into the mainstream somewhat. Like with Protege, broke through many barriers, and then you see Chronix broken on even more barriers now. You know what I mean? And ones like myself, Ready, Dre Island, Ready, and so. You know, I think, to be honest, protege played a very, very important part, and I don't think a lot of people give him the credit that he deserves, you know, because he has always, ever since he got into the live music thing, when he went to Jamaica and met Jason Warton and people like that, he has always advocated live music. And then seeing somebody in the quote-unquote mainstream advocating that, it just gives everybody else an impetus to kind of keep pushing and present your thing and have even an online presence so that people and the international, you know, people abroad can see what's happening. You know what I mean? A lot of people were just doing their thing. They had their bands. They were probably even doing albums, but not really marketing it or pushing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I really give thanks to Proto for that still.
And it seems like he was getting into a lot of social aspects. Of,
yeah, exactly.
Of not even just reggae, but the real Rasta, being a Rasta person.
Exactly.
And
you know what I mean?
We see that. Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, just seeing that image, because everything is symbol, you know. Symbols are what evoke feelings and evoke meanings in people. So, you know, he became a symbol for the revival, and it urged other people to just keep pushing, and everything happens in divine timing. You know, it's like so many musicians were being churned out from Edna Manley, the art school in Jamaica, the only real art college in the whole Caribbean region. You know, and it just so happened that at this time so many artists were pushing out and bands were being formed. Some bands like Raging Fire, they're about long time. But it's just now, it's like the time that's actually ripened, just like the fruit on a tree. Because you see the fruit there, you know, a long time before it actually ripens.
Yeah.
So it's just about the cycles of time for me still.
Okay. Q103 Maui, Irie Dole here with you, alongside Kabaka Pyramid, live from the phone, from Jamaica. And definitely an honor to have you with us tonight, all the way up here in Hawaii, all the way from Jamaica. You know, going back to this revival thing, one of the themes I hear coming out is people going out on an exodus.
Yeah.
Tell me about this.
Well, for me, there's two sides to it. You know, you have the mental side, which everything is spiritual. So whether it's a mental or physical, it's still a part of the spirit. But there's a mental exodus from the system. From a lot of us used to have 9-to-5 jobs and are quitting and just dealing with music now. So an exodus from the dependency on the system. You know, independence is being developed with a lot of the artists now. And we're looking towards a physical exodus as well, because we want to uplift Africa. We understand that a healthy Africa means a healthy world. You know, and we see that from Africa, you know, it's forcefully, you know, pushed into a decline. We saw that the whole world decline as well, spiritually, you know, as the heart and the foundation. You know, we know that all humanity stems from the African people, you know, the African Negroid race. You know, so we know that is the source and the foundation. So we have to uplift that. And Africa is being uplifted right now economically. You know, from a certain perspective, we see that a lot of nations are, if you look at the top 10 fastest growing economies, maybe 6 or 7 of them are African. You know what I mean? So it's like, we know that ultimately, this Jamaica, as much as Jamaica is like the face of revolution from a certain perspective, musically in particular, Bob Marley, Peter Tosh, Steve Brown, Jacob Miller, all the ones come forward. You know, we know that it's really Africa the strength coming from. And Jamaica's strength has been through its identification with Africa. You know, so we're trying to resurrect the spiritual side of Africa that has been neglected, you know, through fear and through programming, through Babylon system. We've been programmed, you know, to think that Africa is primitive and this and that, when it's really a more closer bond with the spiritual realm that Africa has had. You know, so looking forward to doing chronics that took us to Kenya the other day. You know, hopefully me, Prota, others can get to go Africa soon, you know what I mean?
Must reach there, for sure.
Yes, I.
Now getting into some of your tunes, one tune that struck me a lot was New Year,
Yeah,
2013.
yeah.
This came right at a perfect timing.
Yes,
Um,
I.
and every lyric is relevant from the intro to the outro, you know. And
Good songs.
2013 was definitely seen as a year um, people thought the world was going to end, like you said in the song.
Yeah, yeah,
But the other side of that is the rebirth,
yes.
the rise of different knowledge and concepts.
Yes, yes.
Some people talk about the rise of the feminine divine, creating the balance in the world that we need. Um, can you elaborate on the song New Year?
Yeah, man. That song, I actually wrote that song closer to the beginning of 2012,
Okay.
and just due to clearances with the sample and thing, the original, it ended up being pushed back to, when was it released? December or
Yeah.
November
Yeah, it
last
was
year?
just before New Year's. Yeah.
December, yeah, exactly. So it was right around the winter solstice. Now, it worked out perfectly because the point where, everybody had it that the world was ending and the cycle was actually the winter solstice in 2012, but it's like nothing happens before the time, and it worked out perfectly. I mean, from I heard the rhythm, that vibe just came to me. The age of Aquarius were entering into that. You know what I mean? We're not, we're not eating certain foods. We see how them poison the corn. We see how them poison the wheat. They create wheat from barley and spelt and all of these things. And this is what they're pushing on the people. Everything has flour. Even the whole wheat flour is still acidic. You know what I mean? And the corn has all these sweetenings and all these fattenings and everywhere you see corn syrup. You know what I mean? So we're breaking out of these barriers now in this time.
And Kabaka, one thing we're dealing with here in Maui is the GMO people
Yeah.
from Monsanto.
Yeah.
Maui is a big agricultural spot in Hawaii, and Monsanto is working to take over the whole thing and make it
I can imagine.
all genetically engineered food. Going back to what you say about one of your lyrics talking about supermarkets full of acid.
Exactly.
That was one lyric that
Oh,
really
it's
struck me.
all in the plan. It's all in the plan. I said in that same song that 2,000 years them have planned this. Them don't even care if songs like that hit because they put it in the movies, they show you. You know what I mean? But the plan is so perfectly in place that it reach a point where it feeds off of itself now. It's like you have ones in certain positions that are benefiting off of a plan that was set thousands of years ago. You know what I mean? And the installment of capitalism, which breeds individualism or was bred from individualism. You know what I mean? So we're moving away from those stuff towards a holistic kind of understanding where we think in terms of a community as opposed to thinking as an individual. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah.
Another tune that's getting big play out here on Maui, and I know in California, Selassie Soldiers.
Yes,
Got to big up Royal Order Music over there in California. My boys Irie and Jaweiser putting this one together. And it's yourself, Chronix, Protege, Sizzla, and I can't think of talking about timing. I can't think of a stronger tune than that right now. That combination right there.
Give thanks.
Yeah,
It's
tell me about this.
Big thing. I mean, it's an honor to be able to be on a song like that. You know what I mean? All my favorite artists, Sizzla being like my major influence musically. Still listening to him old music from the 90s, today. And just the fact that bless up the song with us and supporting the younger generation, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And clearly, we're up on the battlefield, The whole of we're fighting to do this thing. We're fighting for truth and rights, equality, all these things. So it was fitting that you know, the tune came up in that way. Selassie Soldiers, you know, Chronics kick it off with the chorus and the verse, and I got it with my verse. Soto did his verse, and then Sizzler capped it off. So, you know, it's just a great vibe. You know, we get to bring back the lyricism and the music.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And just a joy whenever I hear it play, you know?
There's a couple little lyrical twists I love it in your verse, too, where it talks about move fast like Bobo on a Saturday. the Bobo Dreads fast on Saturday.
Yes, I fasting, yeah, man.
And then this your Pachi, born as a Nati Dread. That just took my mind to a whole nother level. You know, talking about, you know, that just goes into the universal spirit.
Exactly.
Reincarnation, you know.
Exactly.
All of that.
Yeah, man. Encapsulated in simple lines. You know, it's always good when you can present the deep in a simple form, you know?
Definitely.
Yeah, man.
Another tune getting play out here in Maui. Also, just released the music video. Is the one Foundation alongside Jason.
Yes, big up Jackson.
Yeah, that tune's getting rinsed out here at least a few times a day.
Yeah, he came Jamaica, we did the video. Nice vibe. From my brethren, I'll give you a heart and just beer energy, you know, beer energy. You can see it in the video, you know?
Yeah, definitely. That tune's it's another one of those tunes where I like to follow your lyrics and really get in between them, you know?
True. Especially that last verse,
Yeah, exactly. The whole thing. So, Kabaka Pyramid, you've got so many tunes out right now. What are some of your favorites?
Good question. I mean, Can't Study Me is a personal tune for me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, talking about the whole, you know, in the first verse, I'm talking about the fact that, you know, people want to know how come I'm a Rasta and I deal with Egypt and stuff like that. And, you know, people hear me talking about spiritual things and meditation and altered states. And, you know, it's like, no people are afraid of that because I'm associated with Obeah and the dark arts and things like that. So, you know, that song is very personal for me, very personal. You know, what else I could say? But I love you guys, class spin like all worldwide love. I think that's a very important song to me personally, and you know what I mean, everybody who listen it, them resonate with it because it's what we need right now. We need a collective energy moving forward. You know, I talk about, you know, having love for even police and soldiers. And, you know, said that this generation of youth, we're not normal, you know what I mean? We're looking into universal concepts and things like love, you know, and consciousness is something immaterial. So if it's not consisting of material, it cannot be divided, it cannot be separated. So we are really all one on a metaphysical level. You know what I mean? So, enough tunes, lead the way, so let's say I lead the way. You know what I mean? Just really cementing the root and, you know, hailing the emperor as the blueprint for I and I, you know, to move forward. You know, we can never let His Majesty teachings none at all, you know?
Definitely.
So them are some of my favorites, you know?
I gotta tell you some of
Yeah,
so some of my favorite tunes gotta be Prophecy. The Sound, also, both those from the Rebel Music.
Yes.
You know, Feel the Vibes we talked about earlier, and another one you got the video for, King Kabaka. A great video, I gotta say.
Good song.
Tell me about this tune. Yeah, tell me about this tune, King Kabaka, because this one slaps. Tell me about that.
Well, it's alright. I had the first 16 bars written from when I was like, before I was working on the Rebel Music EP.
Okay.
So that verse was just kind of there, tucked in, and then Gavswell from Equinox, you know, he got in contact with us and said he want to work on something. You know, he sent me a beat, and I just knew that the beat was banging, but I didn't really have anything for it.
Mm-hmm.
So now, one day I was listening to the beat, and then I started, you know, spitting that same verse I had on it. And then I said, you know what? I think this sound nice. You know, 'cause it have that kind of hip-hop sound. and there's a verse I wrote to a hip-hop beat that I made. And we just go link him and reach there probably like 2 o'clock in the morning, and by 5 o'clock, you know, we came out and the song was done. You know what I mean? I just wrote the other 16 bars while I was at the studio. And we just decided to just chop it straight for 32 bars, you know?
Nice.
Just lyrics after lyrics after lyrics. And, you know, he was thinking to put the chopping and thing in between the verses, but when he tried it, he just said, "No, I couldn't stop. I just had to let it go."
Nice.
You know?
Yeah. Sometimes you just gotta let it go.
Yeah.
Q103 Maui. We're talking with Kabaka Pyramid live on Rebel Music, and man, I gotta say it's an honor and a privilege talking with you today. You know, we check you up online a lot, Facebook, Twitter. You've got all kind of gotta big up King Irie has a mixtape.
Yes.
Featuring all your songs from the Rebel Music and more.
Yeah, man, big up Irie, man.
Where else can people check you out online?
Alright, check out Kabaka Pyramid Facebook, as you said, SoundCloud/BebbyRock. So that's BEBBLEROCK. Same BebbyRock at Gmail for bookings, you know, anything like that. For dub plates, you can check Kabaka P Music, KABAKAP Music, MUSIC at Gmail. And that's pretty much it.
Nice.
You know, we're looking to come, you know, California in July.
Yeah, let's talk about this. You got a festival. You're hitting Reggae on the River this year in California, yeah?
Yes.
Nice, and that is that's the big festival in California. That's definitely that's the one. That's the one you want to be.
That's what I've been hearing. You know, I was really excited when I heard that came through. You know, when I was in the negotiation process, I was like, just can't wait for this to wrap up. I can mentally prepare.
Yeah.
You know, also a Northwest Reggae Festival too.
Another good one.
You know, yeah, another good one I've been hearing. So, yeah, we just want to come through on all our vibes and, you know, working with Zinkpen's band, Canix's band. So, you know, I've worked with them a lot recently. So, you know.
Nice. Well, Kabaka Pyramid, do you have any other words for your fans?
Yeah, well, we just say keep it accurate and immaculate, you know. It's all about consciousness, you know, just, you know, knowledge of self, you know what I mean? Just look into yourself, know that you're not really an individual, it's a collective, you know what I mean? And anything you do, just consider the ones around you, you know, and just move forward with that positivity, you know?
And if there's some youth out there that are turned on by what you're talking about, what are some avenues that they can check out to gain more knowledge about Kemetic history or Marcus Garvey or knowledge of self?
Well, you can always check out His Majesty Stephen's autobiography, you know what I mean, Marcus Garvey's philosophy, you know, books like that, you know, and Kemet I recommend, if you really want to go deep into Kemet and even alchemy and stuff like that, which is all connected, just check out R.A. Schwaller de Lubick. You know, Schwaller is SCHWALLER, you know, space DE space Lubick, LUBICZ. You know, he's the most profound writer. And just the fact that man is the universe and the universe is man. Not male as opposed to female, but man, the human being, you know what I mean? Everything is within us. And that knowledge, that sacred science was fully, you know, exhausted in Kemet. You know what I mean? So always check him out. You know, I have pretty much all of his books. You know, and yeah.
Nice, right. Well, Kabaka Pyramid, thanks for joining us today. It's been an honor and a privilege to talk to you. And definitely be seeing you this summer up in the festival circuit. And hopefully sometime around the Bay Area. And definitely got to come to Maui and say hello to all your fans out here, too.
Yeah, man. Give thanks. We're looking forward to, man.
Right.
That's the fact.
Want to see more Q103?
Check out our Q-Blog on our website.
For extended artist interviews, behind-the-scenes videos, and more. Log on to Q103Maui.com today.
The rhythm of the island.
Q103.